You are listening to a One Pint Stand, a Minnesota craft beer podcast that tells the stories of craft beer in Minnesota and beyond. So kick back, relax, and grab a cold one. The show starts now. Hello, my name is Dan Bobian, and I write, produce, and host a One Pint Stand. I'm ecstatic that you're listening. This episode of a One Pint Stand is brought to you by Lupulin Brewing, home of Minnesota's favorite hazy IPA, Hui. Known for world-class IPAs, their craft shines across every style. The award-winning Dortmunder Lager, the coveted Barrel God Imperial Stouts, fruity, balanced sours like Fairy's Yes, and the upcoming Squizzle Triple Berry. They're also the creators of Minnesota's favorite THC seltzer, Smazy, proving that whether it's beer or beyond, Lupulin delivers with creativity, consistency, and a whole lot of flavor. On this episode, I head to the border of Minneapolis and St. Paul to Dual Citizen Brewing Company to chat with Ben Hebel and Shaena Leik. They head up the brewing operations over there, and we had a really fun time diving into the brews, their Cadillac brew system. We also chat about how production is challenging and what it's like to share the brew house with Venn Brewing. This interview was really fun and enjoyable. If you happen to be a pint hoister or keg stander supporter of the One Pint Stand Patreon, you get to hear some stories about brew house mishaps, Team Nevertheless Brew Day pranks, and Ben's stint as rapper. So, you just might want to go ahead and sign up if you want your world to become instantly better. So let's head out to the Dual Citizen Brewing Taproom for my chat with Ben and Shaena. Cheers. Welcome to another on-location episode of a One Pint Stand. I'm your host, Dan Bobian. Today, I am here at Dual Citizen Brewing Company on the border of St. Paul and Minneapolis. I'm being joined by the brew team, Ben and Shaena. Thank you both so much for taking time. I've been really excited to come in and chat with you.
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate you being here. We're both very excited to be a part of this.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, my pleasure. So before we get into the vigorous boil of the conversation, I'm going to use a lot of beer terms and see if that seems to have resonated. That landed pretty well. Let's have each of you introduce yourselves by saying your name, your role, and your favorite dive bar in the Twin Cities.
My name's Shaena Leik. I'm the brewer here at Dual Citizen, obviously. My favorite dive bar is Bay Street Burger Dive. It's real close to my house. They've got crazy deals on Wednesdays for happy hour.
Okay.
Big fan of it.
Yeah.
Karaoke on the weekends, if you're feeling that, but have to have the certain amount of drinks in me to.
That's right. What's the what's the magic number to get you?
Well, it depends on what I'm drinking, I guess, but
yeah.
I mean, I have to be feeling pretty good.
Have you ever heard of karaoke roulette?
No.
So that's when you get a group of people together. I used to do this with a group of people I met in grad school. And we go to the Leik VFW. And one time we were there and we were into our beers. And the one guy goes like, "Hey, let's do karaoke roulette." I'm like, "What do you mean?" It's where like somebody writes your name and a song and puts it in, and you don't know what it is, and you just have to go up there and do it. It was scary as hell. I've never been attacked by a shark, but I imagine that is very similar. So that's pretty. I'm like, I'm never doing that again. That was the least fun I've ever had at karaoke.
No, don't sign me up for that at all.
That would put me way out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
I'm not a karaoke guy to begin with. So.
Yeah,
I got to know what I'm singing, and I got to get into it.
And
in
some
the right
people
way.
take karaoke very serious.
Yes.
And some people just don't care. But Bay Street has karaoke. That's good to know. Yeah,
So.
That's a cool area of town.
Yeah.
Nice.
I like it over there.
Nice stretch. A lot of fun places.
Yep.
Bay Street. I haven't been there in a while. I need to circle back.
Yeah, definitely do it.
Okay.
My name is Ben Hebel. I am the head brewer, director of production here at Dual Citizen. Dive bars for me, I mean, would have to be Bull's Horn. That's my neck of the woods.
The Bull's Horn.
Love that place. Great mix of the classic dive vibe, but with some nice food. Yeah, I love that place.
What's your favorite thing to order on the menu there?
It's tough. The fried chicken's super good. The burgers are great. There was a night when I had a lot of beers and I got a bologna sandwich, and that was delicious. So
Okay.
you can't really go wrong with
Yeah.
anything there, to be honest.
Yeah. Sophia said, you got to go to the Bull's Horn and you got to get the chicken gizzards. And I was like, what?
I don't think I've had those.
It's a very interesting
I've had gizzards
textural
before, but I don't think
experience. It's good. I mean, you fry anything, and if it comes with a good dipping sauce,
yeah,
I'm in. So that was good. Their burgers are amazing.
burgers
I just
are great.
love the feel of that place.
It's awesome. It's often quite busy.
Yeah.
But yeah, the people are great. The food's great. You know, no frills, but you can get a big old bucket of chicken.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
That's, a big old bucket of chicken makes everything better.
There's nothing wrong with that.
That's good. So let's start. So you're both in the brew house. Tell me about your path into craft beer and what led you here. I know both of you, this is not the first brewery you've brewed at. So give me the tale. Give me the waypoint, the timeline.
Yeah, so when my wife and I first met, I was not a beer person at all. I mean, Bud Light, that kind of stuff. Started hanging out with her. She got me into craft beer a lot. Started with Fulton, like Sweet Child of Vine. Kind of got me into like 300 and into that range. And I applied at Bald Man Brewing, their second year open. And I just kind of went from there. I was helping out in the back with canning. If they needed help with filling growlers or cleaning, anything like that, I would step in. I was also doing childcare at the time, I left the tap room, went back to childcare. It's actually where I met Ben too. There was an opening, so they asked me if I wanted to come in, and I shadowed a couple days, and I liked it. It was 2020, so it's kind of a weird time, but as we all know,
Very much so.
yeah. So yeah, from there I just shadowed, just doing cellar stuff, and eventually the other brewer there moved back to Colorado, and they trained me in, kind of got me rolling on the brew house, and from there I was just brewing there for about 2 years. Was looking for a little change, a little bit more challenge stuff, more stuff to learn. I felt like I was kind of at a standstill there. So then I went to Bad Weather, and I was there for about 10 months with Andy. Great guy to learn from. And then Ben got hired here and asked if I wanted to be his brewer, and I said, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Absolutely. So
Okay, cool.
As far as I go, I don't know how much detail you want, but I'm a little bit older than Shaena, so my story goes back to like before tap rooms. I mean, I was a huge craft beer nerd from pretty much the time I turned 21.
Okay.
Definitely not before.
Yeah.
And back then it was Town Hall in Seven Corners, Happy Gnome in Cathedral Hill in St. Paul. Those were my two places. And going and doing the tour at Summit.
Okay.
Those were my three things into craft beer. Town Hall was really the game changer for me as far as kind of sparking my love for hops specifically. From there, I was kind of in and out of jobs. I was a rapper at one point in my history. So
Interesting.
There's a lot more to unpack there.
Yeah.
That we don't have time
What was
for
your name?
here. As is.
as is.
I eventually got a job where I traveled the country. Just before that, I was trading beer. I was a beer advocate guy, so trading for Cantillon bottles.
Oh, wow.
And whatever. It was a huge thing for me. All the time trading beer with people. Started traveling for work. Biggest perk for me was getting to go to the breweries all around the country that we couldn't get their beer here. And eventually I, had hit a crossroad where I was like, I need to figure out what I want to do with the rest of my life. I'm passionate about beer. Maybe I could get into that. Brewing wasn't really the goal at that point. I never did really any home brewing. Anything that I did in my early 20s was terrible, so wouldn't recommend anybody go back in time and drink that. But so here I am.
You're not thinking four-dimensionally, Marty.
Here I am traveling, watching people in the back of breweries spraying out a bucket, doing whatever, going, maybe, yeah, I could do that. I got a good work ethic. They could teach me whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
I started applying for various jobs, anything in the beer industry. I ended up getting a job as a beer buyer at a liquor store.
Which liquor store?
This was Lake Ridge Liquors in Vadnais Heights.
Okay.
Shout out to Jared, who was the owner then. I'm not sure if he still owns it, but he gave me an opportunity to kind of take over the beer program there. I got to curate everything, do whatever I wanted, really. I did beer tastings every Friday.
Oh, cool.
Made some really good relationships with my sales reps and distributors, and I was trying to get jobs with them. I was still applying at breweries. Didn't have anything on my resume, so it was hard for me to kind of get a foot in the door.
Yeah.
Eventually, I'm from Egan. Bald Man was opening. I applied to be a beer tender there, and they hired me. I assumed correctly that they wouldn't have much help in the back. One of the co-owners was the brewer. He didn't have anybody helping them when they were first starting to open or trying to open, brewing the first batches and whatnot. So I volunteered my time to help him. After a week, he hired me back there part-time. So the brewery still wasn't open. This was August of 2016. They were opening at the end of August. So I'm helping him brew the beers. He's teaching me what he can teach me. I was studying for my Cicerone exam at the time. Ended up passing that. They opened. I was beer tending. I was working in the back. And eventually that transition took me away from the bar a little more and into the back. Eventually they put me through the American Brewers Guild brewing school. And then I kind of took over more of the day-to-day brewing there. And after about 4 years there, I had kind of hit my peak and was looking for the next opportunity to continue to grow. And indeed, Brewing in Northeast provided that opportunity for me. I started there at the beginning of, or actually in 2021, so still during COVID times, but about a year after the start. And that was everything I hoped that it would be. Dan, the head brewer over there, is a big mentor for me and just kind of letting me run and learn everything that I want to learn and grow in this profession. So, and I was there for about 3.5 years.
Okay.
This opportunity opened up, and it was a natural progression for me to jump to a head brewer spot. So that's why I'm here.
And then Bald Man, did they do a whole lot of distribution? They were on the smaller side.
Not a ton.
Okay.
I mean, they were kind of built for it.
Yeah.
20-barrel brew house. JV Northwest at the time. I forget what they're called now. They were bought out or partnered with somebody. But 20-barrel brew house, 40-barrel fermenters, 40-barrel brights.
Okay.
Never had their own canning line, did mobile canning. And yeah, so a fair amount of distribution, but definitely more taproom focused.
Okay. And then going from there to Indeed, that must have been...
Yeah, going from that to then shift brewing at the time. It was 3 shifts, 5 days a week. And we rotated on a monthly basis. So it'd be a month at 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., a month at 2 p.m. to 10, and a month at 10 to 6. And you just cycle through, rotate. So, and it was teams of 2. It was a shift brewer and a shift seller.
Okay.
And we worked in tandem.
Okay.
Together to accomplish whatever we needed to accomplish on a given shift. My job there was work production.
Okay.
Mostly.
And how long was the time that you both were at Bald Man? How long was that?
Like, how long did we work together?
Yep.
As far as in the actual brewery, none really. Other than Shaena would come back and help with canning, but behind the bar we worked together.
Okay. All right.
At the time that she was there, I was probably only working 1 shift a week, maybe behind the bar. But then when I ended up leaving, then I was a huge, not like tooting my own horn, but I was an advocate for Shaena to take that step because Shaena had shown the want and the will and the drive to want to learn that, and so I was kind of like, hey, to the head brewer there, like, I'm leaving. You should bring Shaena over. And
yeah. Thanks for that.
So
worked out.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's really, I like to hear that because, it's hard. You mentioned earlier, like, there was really if you don't have experience doing something, really you're at the mercy of somebody vouching for you. And I think there's a lot of people in our local Minnesota craft beer scene who have really benefited from places that were willing to listen to that you know, hey, you should check out this person over here. They're doing some really cool things. They've got, you know, the potential to really want to move up. And if your company's like, well, I don't know, they don't have experience. Like, well, then how does anybody get a chance? Like, how do you tap into that passion?
Yeah, it's tough, you know, but you trust yourself and you just continue to work towards getting that opportunity, knowing that when I get this opportunity, they're going to be happy. Whoever gives me the opportunity is going to be happy they did so.
Yeah.
Because I know me, I know what I'm going to bring to the table and my work ethic and my drive and my want to learn and make ultimately the best quality product that we can make, right? So I knew for me personally, I just needed that one opportunity so I could run with it.
Yeah. Now, I didn't mention at the beginning, I'm drinking this, what is it called? Creme brulee.
Creme brulee.
Creme brulee. It's a cream ale. Have you done a cream ale before?
No, that's our newest beer here. It just came out last week.
It's nice. I like it.
My first kind of, you know, I came from Indeed. We kind of are known for a cream ale there. We made a lot of cream ale there.
Yeah, that helps.
All pistachio forward, of course.
Oh, yeah.
So this was kind of my opportunity to say, let's make a cream ale without the pistachio.
Yeah. So. Hey, you did well. It's really quenching my thirst today. Today is so nice.
Yes, it's a beautiful day.
Very good day for cream ale. What are each of you drinking? You've got to have some.
I got the same. I got the.
Oh, you got the cream ale. What is this?
This is the Wave Racer.
Oh.
I just needed a little liquid courage to do. So I got to step it up to the.
We haven't even gotten to the trivia part of it. No. Award-winning Wave Racer.
Yeah, I got second place at Minnesota Brewers Cup.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I always wonder about the difference between breweries and their process. I mean, it could probably, be equipment, different sized equipment. You were talking about, going from Baldman, which you mentioned the size of their tanks and stuff. I mean, pretty big, and then, if you came from a small place, I think about, heavy rotation up in Brooklyn Park has a 3.5 barrel system. That's teeny tiny.
Making good beer on it.
Really good beer on that. Talk to me about when you got to Dual Citizen, their production facility is just absolutely fabulous. They did that right. Mm-hmm. The equipment, they've got horizontal tanks. It's huge. Like, what was your reaction? Was it kind of daunting to realize, like, whoa, this is really nice? I would imagine it was a lot like if you're used to driving, like, a Toyota Corolla, and then all of a sudden it was like, hey, you want to take this Corvette for a ride? You're like, I don't know if I should. What happens?
Well, for me, it was mainly coming from Baldman to Bad Weather. Bad Weather had a lot of automated valves.
Okay.
Just a screen where you pressed a button, opened a valve. From there to here, it's similar. There's a screen that interacts with all the valves. It's also a 4-vessel system, which, I don't know, doesn't seem to make that much of a difference.
Okay. Wait, I need to back up. 4 vessel. What are the 4 different vessels?
So there's a mash mixer, so that's where you mash into.
Okay.
There's a lauter ton. That's where you're voroloffing and lautering, sparging. That runs off into the boil kettle, boiling, adding hops, all that stuff. And then over into the whirlpool where you're creating a whirlpool and collecting all your hops in the middle. You can do hop additions in that.
Okay.
And then from there, you're knocking out into a tank. Did I miss something?
No, I think, the benefit of that is that, you get busy enough to where you can be brewing multiple turns at one time.
Okay.
Right? You're out of one vessel, you mash in the next one. I mean, that's what, at Indeed, it was 24/5, right? We didn't work weekends, but it was a constant flow.
Okay.
I mean, we're brewing 20-some turns a week in the 5 days, so it's a nonstop through the 3 shifts.
Yeah.
I'd mash in 3 times in a shift. Like that was my job there. Boil. The rotation changed a little bit by the time I left there, but essentially you can use those vessels to keep the operation going.
Okay.
We haven't really done that personally. I mean, we share the brew house with Ben. If you listen to the past episodes, you will know this already.
Yeah, that's right.
But the only time, like, we've had to double up maybe twice.
Okay.
But it works out well. I mean, it only delayed my day or made me get out of. I mean, I think Ben, their brewer, came in at like 5 a.m. and started the brew, and then I was out of there by 5 p.m.
Okay.
That by doubling up, so we could. Please don't make me, but we could do shit.
If need be, we will.
Yeah, yeah.
I think coming in, it was a bit daunting to come in because, it was right in the middle of the summer when we started here, and state fair's coming up, and there's beers in the tanks, and the transition. Shaena and I were pulling double duty, working at our previous breweries, and then coming here and working.
Okay.
Because there was a transition period where Dual Citizen needed people on board, and when we showed up, it was Andrew and Ellis, who are still with us today. They're awesome. They are packaging, seller. They kind of do it all.
Okay.
They're the best.
They were here already, and we showed up, Shaena and I, and it was like go time. But also, still having our other breweries that were trying to leave on good terms and everything, and give the proper notice, and so kind of pulling double duty. But it was a bit daunting walking in, going, all right, let's figure out how all the stuff here works, and figure out things that we want to maybe change about how the equipment's set up or whatever. Recipe design, all those kinds of things. So it was more a lot to take it all in, figure out what the priorities are, figure out what can wait, and setting it all up so we could do the best that we could with it at first. And, from where that started to where we're at now is night and day. And I'm proud of what we've done to get to where we're at today. I mean, we're putting out good beers. We got a good process. Quality is excellent, from brew house to can. I mean, we're very diligent about everything that we're doing. So it's fun to be where we're at now and see where we came from.
The nice thing is the two of you knew each other.
Mm-hmm.
It just wasn't coming in, okay, hi, nice to meet you. Let's go, brew a bunch of beer. So you come in, you said summer of 2024?
Correct.
Okay, come in summer of 2024. They've got their catalog of beers. They've got, things established. You said there's, beer in the tank. So you're kind of essentially, with certain things, just kind of carrying them across the finish line. Mm-hmm. But obviously, you have professional experience of your own. Mm-hmm. What is the process of when do you get to say, all right, we're gonna look at what they have. I imagine each of you wanted to kind of maybe put your own personal touch on certain recipes, or maybe you're like, well, I like this, but I got this, when I was working at Bad Weather, Andy taught me this thing to bring out this flavor in this style. When I was at Indeed, I learned to do this with these IPAs, and it really created a nice kind of different, biotransformation thing. There's another brewery.
Wow.
Beer
look
wizardry term for you. What was that process like coming in and seeing, because it's not like the advantage of, when you start off a brewery, you get to do it from the ground up, but it was already kind of a well-oiled machine. It's like, just don't drop the ball kind of a thing. Talk to me about that process.
I mean, I think that was part of the daunting nature of, like, we're not coming into just a fresh new scene. It's an established place that we want to do right by what they've done and where they've gotten themselves to. And I'm not trying to, rock the boat too much upon arrival. But I mean, we have our own creative ideas and things that we're trying to do. But at that very beginning, it was, like you said before, getting these beers across the finish line, right?
Yeah.
Getting things straight for the state fair, making that list of priorities of, maybe where I want to be way down the road, but how am I going to get there and what's important right now? Because it's not just about me wanting to do what I want to do. It's about the team that's already here, a team that's in place that front of house, sales staff, things that people I need to meet, establish relationships with, and make sure that we're doing right by them. That was important to me when I came in here. Was I want to make sure that everybody knows my intentions and what we're trying to do for Dual Citizen, and not just say we're coming in, we're doing it our way. Like we wanted to respect everybody. So it was definitely part of the intimidating nature of taking over a place, but also ultimately good. I mean, kind of getting thrown to the fire and learning that way, but knowing that I have good mentors, specifically Dan at Indeed, who's willing to help me with anything. Any questions, no matter what, let him know. He's going to do his best to help me out if he can, and I'm sure Shaena would say the same thing about Andy and anybody else where she came from. But I think that was just part of like taking a breath when we got here, being appreciative of the opportunity, and trying to do right by everybody that was already here.
Yeah. Talk to me about, I always ask people, what's your brewing philosophy, or kind of when it comes to, certain things that you prioritize. I think there's some brewers that really want to be esoteric with their beers and really do kind of funky out there stuff. They're on the continuum of artist and scientist. They're more towards the artist. And then you've got, your supremely technical brewers. I would probably put Andy from Bad Weather in that category. I mean, his beers are damn near flawless, and just like every aroma, texture, finish you would want in a beer, it's there. Where do you fall along that continuum of scientist, artist, as far as like how you brew?
Well, I feel like for me, I'm a baby brewer. I've had like 3 total recipes that I've made myself. And so right now, for me, I'm just trying to kind of not experiment so much, but more on the scientist side.
Yep.
Right now, I'm doing what I know. I'm getting a little creative with it, but I don't think I'm getting into like anything weird and funky yet.
Yeah.
I don't know if I will, but I'm liking I brewed a Dortmunder, and that was just very straightforward. And
you brewed an awesome Dortmunder.
Thank you.
It was delicious.
But yeah, so I feel like for me, I'm just trying to dial in all the processes of like recipe development and all that, and then from there we'll see. But I'm feeling like I'm gonna kind of stay on Andy's path.
Yeah.
Personally.
How about you, Ben?
It's definitely a blend of both, but I always want to be thoughtful and purposeful in what we're doing, from recipe design through brew house to fermentation to canning, whatever. I mean, everything's got to have a purpose and an end goal of what we're trying to achieve. And I'm old school. Like, I write my recipes on paper. I don't use software for it. It's all.
You don't do it on Snapchat like these youngsters these days.
I like my pen and my pad and just thinking about it, right? And calculating by hand and recalculating if necessary, and seeing how things play out. I mean, if we get to do test batches here at the tap room, that's great. If not, we go for it over there, which is what we did with Wave Racer. And I'm a perfectionist, so I'm always working on stuff. Sometimes to a fault where it's like, stop. We're good.
I think you need some of that for brewing or producing anything, but like
Definitely.
I think there's also the point where that perfectionism probably prevents a lot of people from really appreciating what they do, because when you come up with a recipe, you brew a beer. I think every brewer has this idea in their head of like, okay, it should taste like this. It should, the texture should be this. The finish should be this. And if you're 95% of the way there, like I'm going to love it. But you two might be like, well, it's missing that one little thing.
There's often things like that. I mean, Wave Racer is a perfect example, because we brewed a 40-barrel batch that first time right out the gate. And we went to Hops for Hunger with that beer, and we won best beer at the fest. And it's like, that's great and all. That's awesome. But for me, I'm like, it's not quite right.
Yeah.
And I kept tweaking the recipe and I kept tweaking it. And as many people can tell me they love it, if I'm still like, it's close. And there was always something bothering me about that beer. And I was digging into it. And you got to fight the temptation to change a bunch of stuff at once, right? It's small little baby steps, especially a beer like Wave Racer, which is a core beer of ours. It's a really good seller, so I don't want to mess with it too much, too fast. And so for that beer, there was always something nagging at me, and came down to it, and it happened to be the Amarillo hops for me in that beer with the other hops. It just wasn't jiving, you know?
Okay.
And that was my thought, that's what was bothering me. And as soon as I started to take those down, and eventually eliminate them completely, now it's like, okay, now we're talking. So those are like little things that you either pay attention to them or you don't. And for me, I can't not pay attention to stuff like that.
Yeah.
Some beers come out and I don't really have much, you know, that I want to change. And others I'm constantly working on them. You know, our Lake State lager, it's Hellas lager. It's something I've been working on since I started here too.
Yeah.
Changing the grain bill, changing how I'm hopping it, getting more nuanced on the hot side. So, yeah, I mean, all of that is fun to me. And it's about process. It's about collecting data, you know, making sure we're tracking everything that we can along the path. So if one batch is great, one batch is fine, you know, I think we always do a good job of putting out clean, well-made beer. It just, and we're pretty consistent with it for a brewery that's, you know, a little bit on the smaller side. Like we do a good job, whether it's here, which is a nice little 2-vessel brew house, or on the 4-vessel Corvette, as you put it, you know, at production. We try to pay attention to the little details because things here are a little different than they are over there.
Sure.
You know, whether it's mash temp or whatever, you know, we got to adjust. So.
When you both came in to Dual Citizen and looked at what they had, did you look at the beer list and think to yourselves, "Oh, we don't really have this style. This might play well with some of the other things."
I guess that's more of a you question.
Or like, you know, when you tasted a certain beer, you're like, you know, this is pretty good right now, but I bet if we tweak this, like you were saying,
there was a lot of that.
Yeah,
there was a lot of me coming in, assessing it, and again, not wanting to completely change things because I wanted to respect, but also being like, hey, I'm going to do these things, and we're going to see how it goes, and we'll either get a good response or we won't, and we've gotten an overwhelmingly good response.
Yeah.
And so Wave Racer was a beer we created to hit that West Coast IPA market, you know, be a little more like, you know, true to style with something like that and see if it would take off, and it's done really well for us. But a beer like Good, which has been here, you know, from before us, you know, I changed it a little bit, maybe simplified it a little bit, cleaned it up a little bit, but like that beer sells well. Is it what I would, if I was starting from scratch making a hazy IPA, is that what I would do right off the bat? No. But can't argue with sales, right? And if sales are good, I'm not going to, my work is done, right? I don't need to overthink things like that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, coming in, looking at the equipment, you know, Indeed was all manual. It was a 3-vessel, 30-barrel brew house with some 200-barrel fermenters and 60-barrel fermenters, 30-barrel fermenters. It was a big, fast-paced operation, all manual, right? So I come in here, and it's specifically over there, automated.
Yeah.
New for me. I'm old school, so I'm kind of like getting dirty and getting the valves open on my own. But you know, once you learn how to use it, which again, as Shaena alluded to before, you know, we work in tandem with Ven on the brew house, so they were a great resource. They've got experience on it. Gave us a one brew day rundown. I basically wrote an SOP in my notebook, and then we were off to the races of doing it on our own, figuring out little tweaks to make here and there.
Yeah.
You know, improvements to the hardware if we needed to in certain aspects. But, you know, we're fortunate to work for good people, good ownership, good CEO, good team around us in all aspects. We have all of that here, so very supportive.
I mean, from the get-go, I know that Dual Citizen is a very well-resourced brewery. If you make the point, like, we need this to do this, from what I've heard, very very seldom do you hear the word no. So that's got to be nice. How long did it take you to kind of like, all right, now we're in the flow?
I don't know, maybe a month. like, I mean, aside from the month.
That doesn't sound bad. There's
No.
breweries that have been open for 5 years. They still haven't figured it
I
out.
would have said a little longer than
Well,
that, but
I mean, so with the month that we took, while we were helping just bring things
working
through
at both jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're counting that, then like maybe 2.5. I feel like I got pretty comfortable on brew house pretty quickly. Cleaning processes are different everywhere. And so just learning your process once I got that dialed in, I feel like it was, I don't know.
It was a lot of assessing things, right? Like what's the status of all the equipment from the boiler to the hot liquor tank, cold liquor tank, brew house, canning line, and then working to get all of that kind of, as close to square one as possible in terms of, all the equipment needs maintenance from time to time. And so it was a lot of assessing, again, making a list of priorities. Priority number 1 was getting the beers in the tanks where they need to be, making sure our state fair accounts were taken care of.
Yeah.
And then also chipping away at what are the other things that we need to do to get this place running really smooth. The whole tap room was under renovation when we started, so we didn't even get to brew here until, 6 months after we started.
Okay.
I guess that makes more sense for your job's more like logistics, and so that makes sense.
It was great for me to be able to put Shaena on the brew house, train Andrew and Ellis on cellar work, and then me being able to be comfortable with that and be able to do all the other stuff that I needed to do to get this place where we were trying to take it to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, anytime you're taking over an operation with a lot of moving parts and people you don't know and multiple breweries to run, there's a lot going on, but we did a good job. I'm proud of where we're at for sure.
In the last calendar year, how many barrels has Dual Citizen brewed?
It's a good question. I don't have a hard number for you. If I had to ballpark it, I would say we're probably close to 2,000.
Okay.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah. Do you feel like that's kind of a sweet spot? I mean, it seems like if you're going bigger, that sounds really hard, especially given the craft beer climate. But 2,000, when I think about the breweries that I know that are at that point and that they feel like that's manageable for, getting out, having a presence in liquor stores and things like that, but also really being able to keep the tap room, keep a lot of options up there on the board.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think we have loftier goals. I think we're good. We're doing good. We're on a very good trajectory, but I think 3,000 is that would be a comfortable spot.
Sure.
I think. The staff that we have, me and Shaena, Andrew, and Ellis, we're capable of getting up there into the 3,000 range.
Yeah.
With the setup that we have. We're very fortunate to have this brewery here to fill tap lines with.
Okay.
We get to come over here, be creative, try things out if we have the time. Otherwise, confident in recipe design to go for a big batch if need be. But it's a great thing to have a small little brew house that is a workhorse. I mean, this thing is, we're very efficient on this brew house, and we make good beer on it. Keep the tap lines full. Keep making sure that, the people that come to our tap room are getting fresh beer, keeping it interesting, new varieties, all that kind of stuff. And then with the production space, cranking out what we need to crank out as far as our bigger, core brands and seasonals and things like that.
What are the main core brands where you're just we're constantly the workhorse, they're leading the sales, that's what people are asking for?
Good, and Wave Racer.
Okay.
Lead that charge pretty significantly across the board, whether it's taproom sales or outside sales. Those two definitely drive what we're doing. Lake State's a good seller. We just started doing a lime version of Lake State.
Okay,
which has been
I saw that up
super
there.
popular for us lately.
That's a good lager.
Yeah. Lake State's great on its own. The lime version has been a hit.
Okay.
So that's very cool. Ruby Shoes, our sour, raspberry sour, is very fun. Super clean sour, nothing funky, weird about it, but very fresh, vibrant raspberry going on there. Good acidity. That beer has been very popular for us. Ripple Effects Hazy Pale Ale, Rivertown Brown, Echo Valley Double IPA. Those are things we'll brew at production.
Okay.
Like 20-barrel batch sizes, do some canning. Shaena's Dortmunder we did over there for the team Nevertheless, which was awesome. So really the bigger batches over there are just necessity. What's the core brands? That's what we're cranking out most of. And then we sprinkle in things like the Dortmunder, things like the Noble Weizen that's on now, which is fantastic.
Okay.
So it's a nice balance getting to have the 5-barrel kit and the oversized 20-barrel kit at the production space.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at the table. Now we got 3 empty glasses. So it's bad luck to be doing a beer podcast with empty glasses. So we're going to take a break now. And you should stick around because when we come back, we got more exciting stuff from Dual Citizen Brewing Company with Ben and Shaena. And you're listening to A One Pint Stand.
Well, it started as a one-night stand. I had 2 pints for a lonely hand. Bounced back like a rubber band for 3 pints. Drink a fourth in the faraway land, but I couldn't make it as a single man. So I married me this beer right here. A pint, a one-pint stand.
Hey, thank you so much for listening. Hopefully you're enjoying A One Pint Stand. My aim is to help spread the word about craft beer. Enjoying craft beer is a passion of mine, and I love chatting about it with other people. A One Pint Stand has a goal of helping breweries tell their stories. I love to get out in and beyond Minnesota to visit breweries, beer bars, and meet other interesting beer people. If you are also into those things, you probably want to keep tabs on the show. So go ahead and follow A One Pint Stand on Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky, and Mastodon. I also started a TikTok account because I was tired of Charles calling me a boomer for not having one. I would also appreciate any and all positive reviews on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you listen to your podcasts so that we can make it easier for other craft beer listeners to find us. If you want to be a supporter of the podcast with some of the extra change that you find in your couch cushions, I have a Patreon. There are 3 different monthly levels of support priced at $1, $3, or $5 a month. If you pledge at the $3 or $5 monthly level, you get some pretty cool perks. So go to patreon.com and search A One Pint Stand to check it out. We're up to 29 supporters, and I'm really excited for what that means for the show. If you like reading about craft beer, check out my written work on aonepintstand.com. I love to write, and that's where you can find all of my written content covering both the local craft beer happenings as well as my craft beer travels. I truly appreciate you listening and taking time to enjoy our stories. Big news for craft beer fans. Our friends over at Lupulin Brewing are turning 11 and celebrating with a massive 11th anniversary block party on Saturday, May 30th. The party runs all day from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and this year, they are going full-on nostalgic with a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles pizza party. It's going to be a totally tubular vibe with multiple pizza options along with some desserts. To mark the occasion, they are dropping 2 brand new anniversary beer releases and serving up specialty beer slushies. This is a block party for the whole family, with interactive games to keep everyone entertained. They've even got the kids and non-drinkers covered with some refreshing and delicious NA slushies. There will be a live DJ spinning tracks for the full 12 hours to keep the energy high. Come help Lupulin celebrate 11 incredible years of brewing. Mark your calendars for May 30th and plan to be at their tap room in Big Lake to grab a slice, a pint, and join the party.
How about a beer?
All right, we're back for the second half of our beer conversation. You're listening to A One Pint Stand, and we're here at Dual Citizen Brewing. And I'm learning a lot about this place through the stories of the brewers. Shaena and Ben, thank you so much again for sitting down with me. I refueled with something a little bit more high octane.
Yes.
And this is the Noble Weizen.
Yes, it is.
And I see that you have the same thing.
We have the same.
This has the classic wheat beer aroma, kind of like that clovey, little bit of bubblegum banana. Is that what I'm getting?
You're getting it.
Or either that or I'm having a stroke. Either way.
No, you're okay. You're okay.
And I noticed I looked at the ABV, it's like 8%.
It's 8%, yes.
Okay. This will get you ready for karaoke roulette. This
Yes, it would.
this is a nice beer. Talk to me about the bones of this beer. It's really nice.
Yeah, I mean, this beer is dear to my heart. It's probably my favorite thing on right now. This beer was a collaboration with my old crew at Indeed.
Okay.
So basically, ever since I started here, Dan, my old boss, has been bugging me to come over and use our brew house.
Yeah.
And use it to its full capacity and use our lagering tanks.
Okay, good. All right.
So we decided to do a collab, and we wanted to do something different and interesting. And anybody that knows him knows he's a huge German beer fan at heart. And so we decided to do a pale Weizenbock, very traditional German wheat beer, but the Bock part being the higher strength, pale being the typical Weizenbocks are usually dark in color. So we wanted to have it a little bit paler in color, but we got to do some cool things on our brew house. So this was like the first beer since Shaena and I have been here where we used that brew house to what it can do, which is multiple step mash in the mash mixer.
Okay.
So with any kind of traditional German wheat beer, you're going to want to take it through some steps: a ferulic acid rest, protein rest, bring it up for your beta amylase rest, alpha amylase, and then send it over to your lauter tun. But in this case, we did all of those, and then we also did a single decoction on it. So our mash mixer has steam jackets, and so we were able to go through the step mash process, send 2/3 of that over to the lauter tun, and then bring the remainder up to a boil.
Okay.
And do a single decoction. This beer is heavy on the wheat, as any Weizenbock's going to be. So you really bringing out that rich character of all the malts in here, not just the wheat, but all the malt character. Single decoction, send that over, continue on the brew house. Very traditionally, this beer was hopped with Tradition and Saphir, German noble hop varieties, and then fermented with a Weizen yeast from Imperial. And we decided to ferment this in one of our horizontal lagering tanks.
Okay.
To sort of mimic a traditional open fermentation profile. Funny sidebar of this beer is that our horizontal tanks, there's 2 of them. They're stacked on top of each other. They're glycol return lines. Glycol is necessary. Steam and glycol, you need those things to run the brewery.
Because glycol cools.
Yep. And so this one was going into the upper tank. We had a batch of Lake State in the lower one that was lagering. So it was 32 degrees, chilling out. We did not know that there was no check valves in the return line. So as cooling's going into the lower and returning via the return line past the upper, it's going into the upper. There's no way to prevent it. Me being who I am, we brewed this on a Friday. I'm waking up in cold sweats in the middle of the night going, I need to go check on this beer. Something ain't right. I'm feeling it. And I go in, and sure enough, I look at the temperature, and it's 48 degrees. Now, this beer is supposed to ferment in 70s. And so I shut off the lower tank. Lake State's going to have to wait. And here we are drinking this beer today, and it's delicious.
Yeah.
Everything worked out well.
Bob Ross would call that a happy little accident.
But it was one of those things as a brewer, a lot of times you're learning lessons and you learn what to worry about, what not to worry about.
Sure.
And this is just another thing in my tool belt per se of this beer turned out great, and we kicked that fermentation off about as bad as you could possibly do.
That's right.
And here we are enjoying it, and it's just another thing to just, now I sleep well at night.
Yeah.
In regards to that, but it's like another thing to learn, another thing to go, it's okay. We'll get it through. And so in those instances, my perfectionist and my inability to shut it off pays off.
It really saved your bacon.
I am on a Saturday morning checking on the tank. And, if I would have waited till Monday, it would have been a different story. So,
yeah.
But this beer is fun. It's very tasty. Everything about it turned out really well. So shout out to my guys at Indeed.
Well, and I think there's something about a beer that when you look at it, and it just, this looks like a great marmalade color.
Yeah.
There's something inviting about it, and then you get it up to your nose, and you just, there's so much going on.
Yep.
And then I really like the flavor. It screams like springtime, like really bright, juicy, like you get like a nice, like citrus note.
Yep.
Amidst all the other things that are going on in there. This is really delicious.
Yeah, it's very well balanced. All the flavors come through, the foam. One of the things I'm most proud of with pretty much all the beers we make here is foam. Like, it's just, we always get a good head of foam, good lacing on the glass.
Yeah.
Testament to our front of house. They clean the glassware really well.
Right.
You can't get good foam no matter what you do as a brewer if your glassware isn't clean. So shout out to them. But everything about this beer I'm very proud of. So despite the initial hiccup after the long brew day, here we are, and it's nice to enjoy. So
now I have to ask: are the horizontal tanks the thing or the gadget in your brew house that you are most excited about? Because there's a lot of stuff. Like, it's state of the art equipment over there. You said that the Indeed folks wanted to really get the most out of what your brew house could do. Now, you mentioned decoction. Can you give the listeners kind of a Cliff Notes version of what decoction does and why it's important for a beer like this?
Yeah, decoction's a very old traditional method of brewing. It was very necessary back in the day as malts were under-modified. So the malting process has gotten a lot better these days to where, most of the time we're not going to need to do a decoction. Our malts have been, modified in a way that we can access everything we want to get out of that barley kernel. Back in the day, they had to do different steps to get different things out of it. And that's what a decoction does. Essentially, you're going to take your mash. You're going to mash in at a given temperature, whatever that might be for whatever beer you're brewing. And then you're going to take a portion of that, and you're going to remove it from the whole mash, so grain and everything.
Okay.
And you're going to bring it to a boil. And how long you boil is up to you and up to your recipe. And then you're going to reincorporate that with the rest of your mash, and that is going to accomplish several things. It's going to create, melanoidins in your malt, bring out a more rich character.
Okay.
So when you're dealing with nice German malts or wheat, you're really drawing out a more rich malt character out of it, but it's also raising the temperature of that entire mixture, right? Entire mash to another rest point. So.
Oh, okay. All right.
So, essentially when you're brewing, you have a window, right? Where you're talking about maybe 144 degrees Fahrenheit to 162 is kind of a window where you mash and you get different things out of either extreme.
Okay.
They activate different enzymes. So, beta amylase being on the lower end, you're getting a drier beer. So if you mash in at 144, you're going to get a really dry fermentation profile.
Okay.
As a brewer, we're trying to set yeast up, right?
Yep.
So that's what we're doing. And if you mash on the higher end, you're going to get a more sweet, more residual sugar left over in the beer. So depending on style, you're going to hit those different targets. But what you can do is get both.
Okay.
by doing a decoction, or you can accomplish this in a step mash as well, but you're not getting the same melanoidin reaction that you do when you bring it to a boil. But you're taking it through the steps.
Okay.
So.
All right, that makes more sense.
That's probably not a cliff note, but
but that's good.
I
That's
tend
what
to ramble. So.
One of the reasons I get a lot of feedback on this podcast, and one of the things I'm always really proud of is that there are a lot of brewers that listen to this. Ben Michaels being one of them. He
don't judge me too hard.
Yeah, but I think it's nice to hear it. You know, obviously we're having light conversation, but there are those opportunities to do those deep dives into, and somebody who's into home brewing could get a lot out of listening to that stuff, and other people in the industry are like, oh, that's kind of interesting, you know. So I'm always fascinated. I always love a more than a Cliff Notes explanation of a brewing process or something like that. Wow, this is really, really yummy.
It goes down pretty easy, huh?
I was going to say, it doesn't drink like 8%. I mean, there's some beers where you're like, whoa, yeah, there's this has got some heft. No, this is very easy drinking. That's got to be one of the biggest challenges, right, in brewing, to try to get a beer that even if it packs a punch is very easy drinking. That's got to be hard. I know a lot of places, like sometimes you drink their 6% beers. You're like, what is this, lighter fluid? That's got to be hard. This is must be a challenging beer to brew.
Yeah, I mean, this beer, you know things like that as a brewer. So this beer got 2 months of lagering time. So it's like, I know this beer is going to be very harsh if you just package this out of fermentation, 8% alcohol. There's a lot of ester profile going on there, a lot of different fermentation characteristics that you need to kind of homogenize and mellow out. So, I knew going into it, this beer's got to sit for a while before it's going to be ready to drink. So it's just, and it varies style by style, alcohol content, as to how to make it drinkable, right? I mean, it's recipe design, but it's setting your yeast up to do what you want it to do. Ferment it how you want to ferment it. And that's, part of the fun as a brewer is learning that and always continuing to evolve. With the two brew houses, things behave differently here than they behave at production. Yeah. So when we brew here, I know that. Shaena knows that. So when we're like considering a recipe, there might be minute differences between how we do it here and how we do it there to get it to be the same product. But ultimately, consistency is the thing that we're always striving for. So. Yeah.
Now, one of the things I always wonder about is when you've got a brewery, certain breweries have an ethos of feel. I think about Arbeiter. The name is worker. Arbeiter, their beers are clean. They're classic. They're not doing gimmicks. They're not like, I've never seen a quadruple IPA on tap. And if I know Aaron the way I think I know Aaron, I don't think he ever will do that. But, it's just like in every person's beer. Like everybody can access this beer. And, the Advanced Cicerone is going to take their ha-ha pills and they'll analyze it. They'll run it through their supercomputer of aroma and everything and then really get some cool stuff out of it. And jabroni like me is going to come in after a long day of teaching and be like, oh God, this just quenches my thirst.
I'm the jabroni.
Hey, I'm fine being a jabroni.
Yeah,
That's
me
okay.
too.
That's okay. I will
you.
wear that moniker with pride.
It's nice being a jabroni.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's annoying, overanalyzing everything.
Exactly. And there's certainly a time or place for that, but sometimes I just want to drink a beer.
That's right.
And have some laughs and do that. I think Arbeiter's beers lend themselves to that. There's other breweries where it's like a different experience. What's the ethos of this place? And how do you make sure that you are like creating the beers? Because I know that Dual Citizen is known for doing a lot of community outreach. Mm-hmm. And it's a gathering spot. It's in the name, Dual Citizen. Some people who live in St. Paul, they don't go to Minneapolis, and vice versa. Dual Citizen, you can be on either team, and you're welcome here. Mm-hmm. How do you is part of the thought process when you're thinking about creating a beer or tweaking a beer, like this needs to appeal to everybody in the community? And what's that thought process like?
I mean, absolutely. I feel like that's the goal with everything. You want it to be approachable, but still delicious. And I think Ben does most of the recipe development, and I think he's done a great job with it. That's with my Dortmunder with Team Nevertheless. That's kind of, I wanted something that is approachable. It's a lager, so it's on the hoppy side, a little bit more bitter. But yeah, I feel like just want a good balance on the menu and in the tap room itself. The tap room, I don't know, like you said, great gathering space and all that.
Yeah.
So
I usually find myself here before and sometimes after a Loons game.
Perfect.
There's a fun energy in the tap room, and
absolutely.
we're sitting here. We have a remnant of the past. These are I call these the worst tap room furniture ever.
Don't lean too hard.
Yeah, whoever thought putting 3 legs on a bar stool was a good idea. I mean, they should be in some sort of class action lawsuit. There's been a nice upgrade to the tap room. The 3-prong stools are now just
They're relegated
hidden
to
away
being
by the
side tables
By the
for
way, here's a
pinball.
little funny thing about I already mentioned him once. Andy the City Elf from Northbound. He was here on the Dortmunder release. He was over here with a friend playing pinball, and I saw him cheat. He cheated.
Oh, no.
He lifted it up to try to do it. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's against regulation. And he's like, shh, don't tell anyone.
Well, now it's just on national airwaves.
Now 7 people will know that he did.
Andy,
But-
we know
We know now.
Yeah.
you're not
But
allowed to play pinball here
no
anymore.
more pinball for Andy at Dual Citizen. Tapping into community and doing a lot of good is kind of one of the pillars of this place. When you think about, do you do a lot of collaborations, or do you have any collaborations coming up in the next couple months that where they might align with a certain like charity or organization that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, dual purpose, which is kind of our ethos for, community, is something near and dear to Kevin, our owner's heart. I mean, he is the most gracious, charitable person you'll meet. And so it's a huge part of what we do here. It's very important, We make the beer, but it's all about community, bringing people in, making people feel welcome, no matter where you're from, what your background is, what you're going through. We make beer for the nerds and the jabronis and everything in between, right? So
It's a fun group. That's a fun thing.
we want
Get a nerd and a jabroni together, and you just basically
Hey, I think we do pretty
you
well
just
together.
put you socially just put nitroglycerin in a paint can shaker.
Yeah, so from our perspective, we want all the beers to be approachable and clean and well made. But that aside, dual purpose, we're always working. Every month we have a different partner. So we partner with a different charity, and for that whole month we're working with them and doing events, and proceeds are going to them. As a general example, we just started doing our Good, which is our hazy IPA, in 12 packs. And soon to come out will be Wave Racer 12 packs as well. So look out for those. But we partnered with Secondhand Harvest, which is like a nationwide food bank that just anybody who's needing food for whatever reason it might be, they are a great resource to getting people meals, taking care of the community. And so for every 12-pack that's bought, $1 goes to Secondhand Harvest.
Oh,
So
nice. Okay.
that's something new that we rolled out with them, and I know they were very excited to be a part of that, and as are we. I mean, it's great. Anything we can do to give back is important to us.
Yeah.
For the month of May, Friends of the Mississippi is the group that we're working with for dual purpose. They help protect vital waterways, sustainable outdoors, those kinds of things. And I know on May 30th, we're going to have a big outside concert fundraiser for them. So
Okay.
if you're into that, you know, if you love nature and you love the outdoors, which we all should,
Yeah.
you know, right now we're finally getting to get back out there. So
This is just glorious.
May 30th, put it down.
Okay.
And then for June, it's all about St. Paul Pride. So we host St. Paul Pride here. And we're going to be doing music, food activations, a drag wrestling show.
Oh, that'll be
You know,
good.
things are going to get a
That'll
bit
be so
wild.
fun.
It's going to be fun. So
Yeah.
every month we partner with somebody different, and we love to do events here, right? Like
Yeah.
shout out to Kyle, who kind of is in charge of events. Matt as well. Like they do great work, bringing
Yeah.
people in, putting on great things. You know, Shaena and I don't have to do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
We can just come and hang out and have a good time with everybody else. So huge part of what we do, dual purpose.
I will be doing a promo with the St. Paul Fire Department
Perfect.
for St. Paul Pride, so keep a lookout for that.
Oh, that'll be good.
I've always wanted to be a firefighter, so when Kyle told me today, I was like,
That's awesome.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Now, one thing we should circle back to, we've mentioned a couple times, Team Nevertheless, and Shaena, I know you're a member of that. Can you explain for the listeners now? Probably 2 years ago, I had Ariel Keaton on here to talk about Team Nevertheless and all the great things that happened. But I'd love to hear from you. I've had a couple Team Nevertheless members on the show, and I always really want to hear about what that organization has meant to you, both as somebody in the industry and just a human being. Can you talk about Team Nevertheless and their importance in your world?
yeah, do you want me to go through like what they're about, like
Yeah,
what we do?
yeah.
Okay, cool. So, Team Nevertheless is a group of female brewers throughout the state. We all get together 2, sometimes 3 times, probably just 2. I don't know. I'm probably overthinking it, but yeah, 2 times a year, get together, brew a beer. We have basically a hat that we draw from, and then whoever gets picked hosts the next brew. So our next brew is at Shell's.
Oh, that'll be cool.
In June. So
Okay.
that's going to be awesome. I hosted the last one, and it was the one, the International Women's Day release, and I did the Dortmunder, which I'm happy with, but like we were talking about earlier, I'm going to keep working on it. You know, it's always a process. Anyway, Team Nevertheless is just a great group of people. Very supportive, I mean, if I ever have a question or any issues, any of us really, we have each other to lean on, and it's an awesome community. And so I guess professionally or it's just helped me grow as a brewer. And then personally, it's just I've connected and, you know, met some really great people and made some really good friends that I feel like hopefully I'll have for a really long time, past and present. So there's some people that aren't in the industry anymore, and they're also great people. And I know when I see them, we'll just like nothing ever happened.
You
like,
pick up where you left off,
yeah,
and I think
exactly.
that's really important.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know.
I love. I've only been to a handful of release parties, but I came here when you released the Dortmunder.
Yeah, thanks for coming by.
I just love. Oh, it's my pleasure. Like I love to just be surrounded by positive energy, and you know, in the Twin Cities, but really the entire state of Minnesota in the last 6 months, we've had more than our fair share of negative energy.
Absolutely.
And it was just nice on that day to be here and just be in community.
Yeah.
And really enjoy and be drinking a great beer.
Yeah.
I mean,
Thank you.
community's great on its own. If you can pair that with a really delicious beer to go along with it, it just is icing on the cake. And did you know that like Summit was they were doing some sort of team building outing that day? Because
No,
everybody
so-
from Summit was here too. I was like, oh,
No,
that's wild.
It blew me away. I mean, it was a great event. Tons of people came out to support us and the beer, and it was. I mean, people I hardly talk to from the industry. I know them, but I don't talk to them that often. I was just like, I think Andy the city elf, came in, and I was like,
AKA the pinball cheater.
yes, cheater. The cheater came out, and no, it was just awesome. It was good to see you there. All the Summit people. I mean, it blew me away. It was a great day. And yeah, very unexpected to see all those people, but I loved it. I love this community.
Yeah. And the beer's great. And the beer is no longer on tap anymore.
It's not.
Because people loved it. They drank a lot of it.
Yeah. I do have a secret 4-pack if we want to crack into that.
I think maybe that'll be for the Patreon.
Yeah. All right.
You could do a secret 4-pack cheers on the team, nevertheless.
Sign up for the Patreon.
That's right. Yeah,
you gotta
everybody.
listen to this. Yeah, come on.
That Corvette's not going to buy itself, folks.
Dan's got bills to pay.
I do
Come on.
have bills to pay. And oh my
see
God.
what we're saying about the Dortmunder.
I just paid like over $400 for a flight to Cleveland this summer. I mean, this is ridiculous. This like
sign up for Patreon.
Everything is expensive. So there's like, oh yeah. So this is there's just a random question. Now we've been talking about a lot of the things, but you know, Ben, you've been in the industry for a long time. Shaena, you've been in the industry for a long time. It's not easy. It's a difficult. I mean, brewing by nature is physically demanding. I don't think people realize that it is a hard job physically on your body. Why do you still do it? What excites you about beer? What keeps you coming back?
I mean, it's passion, right? Like, I've been a beer nerd, like I said before, since I turned 21. I mean, it was just, there's endless learning in brewing, right? Which is, I crave learning. Like, my brain, I can't just sit stagnant in some job to pay the bills. I need to do something that keeps my mind moving, keeps my spirit invigorated, puts me in a group with good people. You know, this industry, this community is great. And it's just about having a passion and getting to share, you know, what we do with people, right? Like, it's very fun to see other people enjoying the fruits of our labor, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it's hard work. There's a lot that goes into it. But it's a, you know, it's a work of love, right? Like, we love what we do. We want to keep people happy. Beer has been around for 10,000 years, doing the same thing. And so we're just kind of another, you know, couple people in the lineage of a beverage that has provided joy and community and good times and laughter and conversation. And we're just, you know, continuing that legacy. But ultimately, for me, learning is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
You could brew for your entire life and still, you know, be learning some nuance, something that you didn't know before that you can then apply and see the results. And that's the fun part.
And there's always, I mean, there's so many different styles, so many different flavors, textures, and I'm always amazed when I hear, like, when you were talking about decoction and the stepman, like, there's so much to it. And, you know, we drink this beer. I think those of us jabronis who don't brew, we just come in here, we drink the beer, we love the beer. There's so much that went into this. Yeah. This, like, simplistic. And that's, sometimes people, you know, think they almost overlook beer as being, like, something super special. Because they just associate it with, like, everyday things. Like, oh, you drink beer after you play, like, softball with your buddies, or you know, drink beer while you're re-roofing your garage, you know, things like that, where it's like, this is a special drink. This is a special thing. And
100%.
if you like you said,
You got a fruit fly in there.
Oh, this fruit fly is trying to take my beer.
I mean, can you blame it?
Even the flies are loving the Noble Weizen.
It's good protein. Just
That's
drink
okay.
it.
I'm just gonna. Yeah, we're just. Here we go. The beer for the 1 pint stand protein shake.
This is why I do it, just to see Dan drink a fruit fly.
That's right.
Yeah,
'cause
absolutely.
it's gonna be. Sign up for the. This is why this should be a video
This is,
podcast.
Patreon.
That's right. You're gonna get. I'm. What's the? He's being whirlpooled right now. You're like a very expensive whole cone of Sabro in my glass.
So,
Sorry.
yeah, that's for me.
That's-
I mean, it's all about the learning. It's about the passion and learning, which is why I got into this business. You know, needed to figure out something I could be content doing for the rest of my life. You know?
Yeah.
Ditto.
That you don't get to do ditto. What,
I mean,
so
what? He didn't leave me with anything else really to say.
What do you mean? It's your life. It's your.
do you
your
remember,
choices.
Shaena? Do you remember like you mentioned your beer mentor, Dan from Indeed?
Yeah.
Who would you consider your brewing mentor?
It's top of my head. What? Oh, you didn't want me to say that. Okay, well, so
You say whatever you want.
when I'm thinking about it, honestly, like all the ladies in Team Nevertheless. So I've got a lot. All right.
Yeah.
So they're all great. Andy from Bad Weather. I'm gonna say it. Ben. I really.
There it is.
yeah.
Mentor shout out on a 1 pint stand.
Like honestly, I wouldn't have. I told him this already, and I literally wouldn't be where I'm at now without him. I come to him with a lot of for a lot of feedback, I guess, on recipes, which makes sense because I work directly with him. But yeah, I mean, those three. Three plus.
2 people in one entity.
Yes, the
Yeah.
entity that is Team Nevertheless.
Yeah.
They're all, like I already said, the best.
So I got to ask a question, and we kind of alluded to it earlier. Now, you share. I think this is whack. I didn't know Ben Michaels previous to like hearing about him, and he became a Patreon supporter a while back. And I was like, who is this? Like, this name's familiar. And I search, I'm like, holy shit, he's the head brewer at Venn. Like, he listens to my podcast. Well, I came to find out that he and Josh, the head brewer at Heavy Rotation, went to high school together, and they're very good friends. And so we got the ball rolling. I'm like, Ben, I want to do a podcast with you and the rest of the team at Venn. And he's like, well, great, let's do that. If you want to see the production side, come over. We'll do that. And then we'll pop over to the tap room and sit down with Zach and Kyle. So I went over there, and I could not believe that it was basically a hose that runs through the wall to go into the Venn side of it.
Yeah.
150-foot hose. Yep.
It's
There's
like,
a lot of different ways to do
what?
things.
Yeah. Talk to me about that relationship. Obviously, I've heard
They're the worst.
Okay, that's what I was waiting for.
Just
waiting
kidding.
for. We're going to be very honest and very
Ben, don't cancel your Patreon. Don't mind that.
Just being honest.
Yeah.
here.
Because I have to imagine in this day and age, with beer being what it is in the market, things are changing, and I wonder how places are going to stay afloat when everything from a material standpoint gets more expensive. The solving the Rubik's Cube of what people are drinking and how much they're drinking, that seems to be an ever-changing thing. And then, Dual Citizen opened this huge production facility right around the time or shortly after production was getting really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember having the thought, like, what are they thinking? Nothing against the beer. I'm
It's a
just
fair
like,
thought. It's a
it
fair
doesn't
thought.
make sense.
No.
everything I was reading, everything I was listening to was saying like, this is not the time to be expanding. So you have that, the Corvette brew house, and you're gonna be pumping out all this beer, but then it's like you've got space, and from the Venn standpoint, I remember Kyle saying that was literally a lifeline for them. Mm-hmm. Them being able to do that was instrumental in their survival as a brewery.
Sure.
And a lot of people listening to this frequent Venn. Venn makes great beer.
Yep.
Absolutely.
From your standpoint, I want to hear about what are some of the pluses of that relationship, and what is that coordination like? Obviously there's one brew house that is now serving two separate entities. From a logistical standpoint, I know Shaena, you mentioned earlier, like there was one time where Venn had to start and you had to do it later, and like how often does that happen? Or like if there's like a delay in a Amazon shipment of yeast, does that like totally fuck up the next month of beer schedule things?
No, I not usually. It could. You never know.
Controversial.
No,
We don't get yeast from Amazon.
Well, yeah, no, that either.
Thank God. Only a jabroni would do that. Who's getting their yeast from
Maybe
Amazon
for your sourdough
in this
starter or
economy?
something.
I mean, with the yeast thing, the one thing that's sticking out to me is we got the wrong thing from a company, and I just hopped over to Venn and I was like, "Hey, you have something that's the equivalent of this?" And they were like, "Yeah."
That's so
Can
awesome.
I just take a couple bricks? It's just a dry yeast, and they were like, "Yeah, absolutely." And I was like, "We'll get you back whenever."
Yeah.
But yeah, no. As for the doubling up of a brew day, I feel like that's only happened once or twice. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, speaking to the growing and kind of going to distribution and building that, sometimes you got to zig when other people zag, right? And, this relationship was established before Shaena and I showed up. Fortunately for me, I knew the Venn guys well already.
Yeah.
My wife has been friends with the owners of Venn, Kyle and Connie, for 20 years.
Oh, cool.
So before we even started dating, when we were talking, it was like, oh, you know that? Oh, I didn't know them at the time.
Okay.
Well, fast forward 6 years down the road, and here we are getting jobs at Dual Citizen, and we're working with Venn because they had established that relationship already. And when we showed up, Venn had a couple tanks in our fermentation cellar, so it wasn't just brew house for them. They were also using the cellar.
Okay.
And then using that same transfer hose to pump things over that you alluded to earlier. I think their plan, I'm not going to speak for them, but I believe they've mentioned getting a brew house of their own at some point, which is why they went with a 150-foot hose instead of hard piping it over there.
Right.
With the eventual idea that, they'll grow and necessitate their own brew house.
Yeah.
But for the time being, our brew house is oversized for a 20 barrel.
Yep.
So they can brew 30 barrel batches on it. We
Okay.
can brew our 20 barrel batches. And for the most part, we work really well together in terms of scheduling.
Yeah.
What do you got going on next week? We got this. Okay, we'll pivot. We'll go over here. We're very flexible. We have such a good relationship with those guys. And like Shaena alluded to earlier, it's really nice to have somebody through a couple doors.
Yeah.
You just pop over there and, hey, I need some hops. Do you have these hops? I need some yeast. I need a gasket, very specific gasket for this. Do you have that? Whatever it might be, and vice versa, right? It's, oh, hey, we went down on this. We need this. We're very like this community tends to be, but it just happens to be right through the doors. So
Yeah.
it's a very convenient relationship with people that we really enjoy working with. So it's gravy. It's super nice.
Yeah.
they're great people too.
Great people.
Yep.
Yeah, that I really got that sense when we sat down and talked. I mean, as a craft beer fan, that's really what I am. I just happen to have recording equipment, but I'm always fascinated to just hear the stories. And when you sit down, and it's one thing to like drink a beer at a place and be like, oh, this is really good. They clearly know what they're doing. And then when you hear the story behind it, it all kind of like sinks in. Like, oh yeah, this is more than just a job or more than just a way to make a living. I mean, let's be honest, there's probably easier ways to make a living than brewing. It's very taxing,
No.
but that passion for it, but also one big common thread in our craft beer community in Minnesota is like there are a lot of really, really good people. I know we talked about some of the events that you have coming up, but we've had a little bit of a temperature change now in the spring. It's like almost 80 today. It's going to be 80 tomorrow. Then it's going to get butt cold over the weekend, and people will be making soup again. But, when do you on the brew schedule, is there a seasonality shift, or what beers are coming up that people should really have on their radar for Dual Citizen?
I mean, there's definitely a seasonality shift, particularly when you have a production space. Distribution picks up, everything picks up as you get into the warmer weather. So right now we're in the ramp up period, for the summer, and pretty much until October. Industry wide, everybody's going to be pretty busy. And so it's keeping up with taproom demand. It's really planning out. We do a good job here behind the scenes of planning. So like I have production brews planned through the summer already. So like everything has its place, its tank that it's going into, where we're grabbing yeast from. All these things are already planned out, which is just how I operate. And fortunately, that's how our sales director wants to operate as well, so we can work in tandem to make sure that happens. And then this area here, as far as filling in the tap lines, is secondary to that, right? Like our production is everything, and then I fill in the gaps with being able to come over here, like we're doing on Friday this week, and brewing a West Coast double IPA at the tap room. We have a Czech pale lager in the 10-barrel tank here.
Oh,
which is kind of how we like to do things now.
Yeah.
It's kind of like we have a 5-barrel brew house. We have 2 5-barrel unit tanks, a 10-barrel fermenter, and a 10-barrel bright. 10-barrel fermenter is kind of our lager baby. So it's
sure, yeah.
We will do double brews, fill that up, and then 2 months later we have some delicious lager, and then the other 2 5-barrel.
That goddamn Lucre faucet too. That'll just going to be magical.
And yes, we do have that coming up for that beer, for the Czech pale lager, and everything coming behind it. But this is a fun little experimental, fill the taps, do what we want to do.
Yeah.
But it's all kind of what's our production schedule, where can we fit taproom stuff. But yeah, I mean the whole summer is busy all around in the brewery. So we got a lot going on. But even in the winter, I mean it's never a down time. We might not be brewing as much, but we are doing maintenance. We're cleaning. I mean there's a lot of things that people don't see behind the scenes of how are we making clean beer? How are we doing it? It's because we care about all of the janitorial aspects of the job.
That's right.
Making sure our boiler's in shape, making sure our hot and cold liquor tanks are in good shape, making sure all of our steam process pipe is in good shape, all of our tanks, our floors, our drains, canning line, everything has to be looked over and maintained and cleaned. Every crack, every nook, cranny, all that. So, we pride ourselves in all of that dirty detail work that isn't brewing, but it's important if you want to maintain a good product.
It's not glamorous at the time, but like you said earlier, when you see somebody enjoying a beer that you made in its best form, and it's quality forward, flavor forward, and they're having a really good time, that makes it all worth it.
That's 100%. A cool feeling.
Yeah. I want to thank both of you for your time and conversation today. This has been really fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So if you're listening,
pleasure.
you got to come into Dual Citizen. They don't have the wobbly stools anymore. They've got great furniture, great beer, and it's made by great people. So thank you so much.
Yeah,
Cheers,
thank
Dan.
you.
Cheers. I want to thank Ben and Shaena for taking the time to chat. I really enjoyed the conversation and learning about the fun brew house at Dual Citizen. They have a lot of really awesome beers coming out, so it was nice to hear about how they were made. Ben and Shaena have a great brewing chemistry, and I think that really shows in the beers. They also both take quality very seriously, and that's always nice to hear. Now, I want to give a special thank you to Brad Ashton, Marcus Dodson, Chuck Dorsey, Vicky Epper, Daniel Fisher, Todd Fitzloff, Dave Giefer, Matt Holton, Robin Irwin, Brian Ketchell, Sarah Cry, Cable Lefto, Dave Long, Ben Michaels, Brent Newman, Bree Smith, Jesse Storms, Cal Vandyhoof, and Brian Wu for being Kegstander level supporters of the A One Pint Stand Patreon. You've all shown incredible generosity, and I'm grateful for it. Cheers to you all. Now, if you happen to be a Pint Hoister or Kegstander level supporter of the Patreon, you heard some entertaining stories ranging from brewery mishaps to Ben's rap career. I want to thank the band Quirky for creating a nice little jingle for the podcast. I just love how it turned out, and it adds such a great touch to the show. Thank you so much. Big thanks to our sponsor for this episode, Lupulin Brewing Company, where top-tier ingredients meet expert craft to create seriously good beer. Find them at your favorite craft beer spots or swing by their taproom in Big Lake. You can find them online at lupulinbrewing.com and follow Lupulin Brewing on social for all the latest pours and happenings. With that, this has been another episode of A One Pint Stand, a Minnesota craft beer podcast where the pants stay on, but the caps come off. Cheers.
I'm old school. Like, I write my recipes on paper. I don't use software for it. It's all.
You don't do it on Snapchat like these youngsters these days.